Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost ready to go. We're 2 minutes behind schedule. But we will make it. We have a really full program today. We're really looking forward to get started. And Edgar, if you would join me.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 20th Annual Modesto Chamber of Commerce Aware Luncheon. My name is Edgar Perez. I'm a Relationship Manager with American Credit, a former board member of the Modesto Chamber of Commerce, and today I am honored to be here to be your MC. Before we start, I want to extend a thank you to Modesto Junior College, Troy Cabal, John Macio, and the dedicated staff, volunteers of the NJC Ag Department for hosting us and preparing today's meeting. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. I would also like to extend our gratitude to the teachers and students of NJC Ag Department and our local FFA chapter for setting up today's event. It is an amazing feeling to see our community gathered here today to support agriculture. This event serves as a reminder of the significance of agriculture, the lifeblood of our valley. For many of us, it is not just our job, it is our livelihood, as it plays a pivotal role in our economic prosperity. Today, being in California can sometimes be controversial, but not for us. Being from the Central Valley fills us with joy and pride. The essence of the California we cherish is embodied right here today in this very room. We are the backbone of the California Central Valley agriculture, and together we can accomplish amazing things. Networking and exchanging ideas over a shared meal is essential for fostering unity and ensuring the continued growth and prosperity of our industry. this event aims to uplift and champion our youth, the future farmers, future leaders, and future stewards of our community. I think we can all agree that now more than ever, there is an urgent need for our youth to embody and live out the values and principles that we hold dear. See, unlike many of you, I don't come from an ag background. I didn't grow up on a farm. My family didn't own a dairy. As a matter of fact, the only time I ever worked on a farm growing up was picking cherries to pay for my first season ticket. But that is the beauty of the industry. It welcomes anybody that is willing to roll up their sleeves and put in an honest day's work. Agriculture has taught me the true meaning of hard work, perseverance, and grit. Because in agriculture, there is just no quitting. It is too important to harvest that next crop, to take that next bird to market, to produce the last ounce of milk. Quitting is just never an option. Because of that, I will forever be indebted to this industry and to all of you here today. So thank you. Thank you for being here today and dedicating your time to our community and our youth. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium Modesto Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Trish Christensen.
Thank you, Ed, very much. I also would like to welcome you to this year's Aware Luncheon. Our dedicated committee members, MGC Ag partners, and chamber staff have worked together for several months to bring you an amazing event with an inspiring and insightful panel of speakers to enjoy. We will also be hearing from 2 current FFA students who will undoubtedly enlighten us with the impact FFA has had on their lives. We greatly appreciate having so many new and returning supporters joining us and sharing in these festivities. Today's list of sponsors and attendees shows the commitment of our community to invest in and support our local students engaged in the Future Farmers of America program. These students are on a mission as the future stewards of our prized valley agriculture. This scholarship luncheon, this scholarship fundraising event would not be possible without each one of you. I wish to recognize some honored guests we have in attendance. May I first ask if there's elected officials that I did not catch on the way in? I do understand we have Mr. Bill Berryhill in the house, if we could give him a round of applause for joining us today. Members of the Modesto City School District Board of Trustees and Cabinet members, I know that we have President Abel Mastis here, VP Homero Mejia, Trustee Chad Brown, Trustee John Urban, Dr. Noguchi, and Deputy Superintendent Brad Godot, Modesto City School District. Please wave and give them a round of applause. Members of the board and the leadership and faculty of Modesto Junior College and Foundation, please wave. If we could give them a round of applause as well. And lastly, the Modesto Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors who are present that I know made it in the room. Kirsty Boyette Zacharias, Community Advocate, Sally Gerbo Designs, Jennifer Gomes, Citizens Business Bank, Courtney Gonya, F&M Bank, Mike Meridian, Peace of Mind Pest Control, Alan Morris, Bank of Stockton, Peggy O'Donnell, Mid-Valley Promotions, Stephen Qualls, Pegasus Consulting, John Belines, Modesto Gospel Mission, Aman Sandhu, I know he made it in, Express Professionals. Please wave wherever you are in the room. Thank you for being here to support all of us today. And I will quickly run our appreciation for our sponsors. Gold sponsors, Crystal Creamery. Silver sponsors, American Ag Credit, F&M Bank, JS Weston Companies, Modesto Irrigation District, U70 Farm Credit. Our equipment sponsors, American Chevrolet, Berliner Cohen, Turlock Irrigation District, Zagers Genetics, and our table sponsors, A.L. Gilbert Company Farmers Warehouse, Alamo Dairy, Atherton and Associates, Bank of America, Bank of Stockton, California Poultry Federation, Community West Bank, Fisher Nut Company, Flory Industries, Gerbo Designs and Teeples, Grimbleby Coleman Advisors, H.M. Claus, Shirkow Insurance Agency, Melvin T. Wheeler and Sons, Modesto City Schools, Modesto Junior College Foundation, and Oak Valley Community Bank, Stanislaus California Women of Agriculture, Stanislaus County Farm Bureau, and Wenger Ranch. Please give them all a round of applause. The good thing about that list is it keeps getting longer, but it takes a moment. And appreciation for our in-kind donors for today's meal are American Hand Credit, Series Pipe and Metal, Crystal Creamery, F&M Bank, Flowers Baking Company, Thrift Store, Modesto City Schools, Modesto Steel, Stanislaus County Farm Bureau, Stewart and Jasper, Trina Foods, Yosemite Farm Credit, Yosemite Foods. Thank you all. Please notice the amazing arrangements on your tables are the centerpieces created by students of the floral programs at Enochs and Johansson High Schools. Let's give them a round of applause. I'd also like to acknowledge elected officials from our water boards who we're featuring today. So MID officials, please raise your hands, and OID and TID. Let's give them all a round of applause. We currently have 8 local high school FFA chapters in our area. Over the past 28 years, we have raised scholarship funds to support those students through this event. These programs are a success because of your loyal support, and we thank each of you for that. Before we dismiss for lunch, we are going to take a moment to post the colors. Those down the center, if you could please tuck in a little bit for our students. I invite up flag presenters Zane Moltman and Logan Janasi with Johansson High School. They are followed by Heliana Canales, who will be giving us the national anthem shortly.
Salute. Pledge.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And I could invite up Councilmember Jeremiah Williams, who will lead us in the invocation.
Okay, you don't have to stand up. It's a poem. It's a prayer poem. Thank you for those who did. Turn to the neighbor and say, thanks for sitting next to me. Of course, some of you didn't have a choice. I wrote this poem in 2017 for this very event, and I thought it would be a good time to bring it back again. Dear Lord, thank you for the wonderful San Joaquin Valley soil and the gracious return on our soil. We thank you for the setting and the rising of the sun, because a farmer's work is never done. We thank you for the seasons, winter, spring, summer, and fall. Let the heavens open, and we thank you for the rain that falls. We thank you for the cattle in the field, the meat, the milk they yield. Thank you for the grapes on the vine, and ultimately the raisin, and oh yes, its wines. We thank you for the trees that yield fruit of all kinds, from this valley to the rest of the world and to all of mankind. Thank you for the almonds and walnuts, trees, and nuts of all kinds that are produced in this county that feeds our bodies, spirit, and mind. We thank you for the sun that rises every day, not forgetting to be thankful for the straw and the hay. Thank you for every harvest, large or small. So help us work together to tear down any walls. The day is short and full of trouble, but we are thankful for what you have allowed us to build on a pile of rubble. Our land we now have because of your mercy and grace. Because of that thought, we will not waste our time or our money, and certainly not our place. From generation to generation, 4-H we need, yes, all future farmers of America, surely indeed. As we bow our heads at the farmer's table in prayer for all the bountiful blessings that we now share, we say thank you for all the strength you have given us and the ability to care. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Will. That was a beautiful invocation. Thank you, students, and thank you, Trish. We will now dismiss all tables for lunch. As you get back there, all stations as the same, so find the nearest available. Make your way back, and we'll get started. Enjoy your lunch.
Got a blue shirt on. We all look the same.
Enjoy your lunch while we move forward with our program today. Today we support our local FFA chapters. California FFA is a high school youth leadership and career development organization. In California, FFA currently has over 102,000 members and 356 chapters across the state. Our members come across from 8 high schools here today: Bayer, Central Catholic, Davis, Downey, Enoch, Grigori, Johansson, D. Modesto High, which is the second chapter ever in California, so write that down. Here today, we're approximately 40 student members who helped set up the venue, assisted you to your tables, and showcased their respective chapters. And we'll help clean up today after we leave. Thank you to each of our FFA students for your hard work and dedication to yourself, the FFA program, and our community. Earlier, I spoke about the importance of investing in our future. Today, we will hear from 4 of our local FFA leaders. And if you need confirmation of your investment today, please listen to these impressive and accomplished young leaders. So, it is my pleasure to introduce our speakers. Austin Lugo. Austin is a senior FFA student from Modesto High School. She is rooted in agriculture, being the granddaughter of Dave Wheeler, co-owner of Melvin T. Wheeler and Sons, and Chris Benavides, vice president at Associated Feed. She is currently the chapter parliamentarian and competes on the dairy, cattle, and judging team. Although Austin does not come from a dairy background, she stepped up to help complete the school's dairy judging team and has competed at the highest level. In 2024 judging season, the team was second at the Fresno Field Day and third at state finals. This year at the MJC Field Day, Austin placed fifth high individual with a few sub-awards, as well as being placed fifth overall as a team. She has also competed in extemporaneous public speaking for the first time this year and ranked second in the section, making it onto regionals, where she qualified for the final round and placed sixth overall. Her passion for agriculture started at a young age where she was actively involved at the Wood Colony and Shiloh 4-H clubs, showing swine at Stanislaus County Fair. Austin looks forward to attending Fresno State University, where she plans to major in ag business and minor in animal science, and hopefully find a career as a feed sales rep or a large animal veterinarian. Brandy Puckett will also be speaking with us today. She is a senior at Johansen High School who has been very active in extracurricular activities such as wrestling, Link Crew, Student Advisory Council, and has participated in programs such as Every 15 Minutes and Foothill Horizons Counselor Program. Most importantly, she found her home through the FFA organization, holding officer positions at the chapter level since her sophomore year, and was the section vice president. Brandy has strived in multiple speaking competitions, earning first place extemporaneous speaker at the section level, and was a state qualifier for an impromptu speaking competition. For her SAE projects, she has devoted her time to spreading agricultural awareness to youth by guiding farm tours and teaching lessons at her local elementary school. She has also raised livestock, showed at the Stanislaus County Fair since her freshman year. Brandy plans on attending Modesto Junior College.
Hello everyone, my name is Austin Lugo and I'm the chapter officer for Modesto High School FFA. My entire life I've always been rooted in ag, coming from 5 generations of family farmers. But when I started high school at Modesto High, joining FFA was never in my plans. In fact, I didn't even really know what FFA was, but that all changed one day in 2023. I had just finished my sophomore year of high school and was going into my junior year when over summer at the Stanislaus County Fair, a few friends of mine in FFA at the time had stopped and talked to me about joining. I was quick to laugh it off and try and ignore it, as I didn't really feel comfortable leaving 4-H, an organization that I had dedicated the majority of my childhood to try something new with people I was unfamiliar with. I successfully avoided this conversation for about 3 days or so, until the night of the beef sale. I'd been running around the fairgrounds endlessly, helping my friend prepare her steer for sale and acting as emotional support, when Miss Burris, one of the ag advisors at Modesto High at the time, had stopped to talk to me. I was confused and concerned how this strange woman knew my name and what she wanted to talk to me about, and she made small talk with me, asked me what I wanted to do in life, and other things about my background, and then she asked me a question that stopped me dead in my tracks. Why aren't you in an ag class? And I looked at her and I didn't have an answer. Deep down, I knew there wasn't really a good excuse. I loved ag and I had been involved in it throughout my time in 4-H. My family were 5 generations of farming, and I didn't have a good enough reason. But I was scared. I didn't want to give FFA the time of day, and so I tried to come up with a few terrible excuses. I think I was on my 3rd one when Burris said, "Just stop." And she persisted in getting me to join. And eventually, me, a people pleaser, and feeling really nervous and on the spot, wanted the conversation to end. So I yielded. I let her convince me to join. My first year in FFA, I wasn't that involved. I didn't really show up to meetings, I didn't participate in any competitions, but something amazing had happened. Whether by coincidence or on purpose, Burris had seated me next to a girl whom I knew briefly before my time in high school and who would push me further in FFA, Gabrielle Furtado. We had first period floral together, and every morning we would talk over floral arrangements, textbook assignments, and we bonded. We became inseparable, and one day she asked me a question that forever changed my journey in FFA and my outlook on FFA and life in general. She asked me if I could join her dairy judging team. See, I came from feed sales representatives and people who grew hay and other products. So I didn't really know much about dairy cows, let alone what I was supposed to be looking for when I judged them. Miss Burris likes to joke that I couldn't tell the front end from the back end when I started, and I think she was right. But Gabby had been begging for a team for years and finally got to the point where she had 3 members and needed just 1 more to compete. And I felt bad, and so I said, yeah, I'll do it. And little did I know that Gabrielle Furtado actually had helped bring me out of my shell. I ended up really liking dairy judging, and time spent with my teammates and the other members of our chapter on road trips and other competitions. And so, it had been one night during state finals when I was laying in my hotel bed, nervous for the next day, when I made a decision with myself. I really enjoyed what I was doing, and so I vowed to become more involved next year, which would mark my final year at Modesto High, my senior year. And I'm proud to say that I have done such. Not only have I attended every meeting and every event, but I'm honored to serve as the chapter's parliamentarian. And I did try something new. I tried extemporaneous public speaking, which I found some success in. I was 2nd in sections, 1st at the Gridley Field Day, and 6th in regionals. And when it comes to dairy judging, I now know what I'm looking for, and I can tell the front end from the back end. As I'm very proud to say that I got 5th high individual at the MJC Field Day. But FFA had reinforced a larger lesson with me. Leaping out of your comfort zone to try something new. It's something that I'm sure you have heard from your parents when you were growing up. It's been drilled into our brains from such a young age, but very few people are able to successfully implement it into their lives. I'm so glad that I took that leap of faith and I tried FFA, and I ended up really loving it. And so, I'm going to carry this lesson close to my heart as I go on to college. I'm hoping to attend Fresno State University, where I'll major in ag business and minor in animal sciences. And I hope to stay involved in other agriculturally involved organizations, such as the Ag Ambassadors, and potentially the sorority. While I could speak endlessly about the countless lessons and experiences I've gained through FFA, to put it simply, this program inspires me. It compels me to strive farther and push myself, not just within my high school, my section, my region, but throughout the state and as I look towards my future. The impact that FFA has had on me is immeasurable, and I'm profoundly grateful for the generosity and support that you have shown for this remarkable program. Your generosity and commitment has not only empowered me, but has touched the lives of other FFA students across Modesto. You're enabling us to pursue our passions, develop leadership skills, and build a brighter future, not just for ourselves, but for our communities and our country as a whole. I recognize that your dedication to FFA extends far beyond financial contributions. It is a testament to your belief in our potential of not only ourselves, but the future of America and its farmers. In our capacity to lead, innovate, make meaningful changes to the world, and from the bottom of our hearts, I thank you for your continued support, for your belief in our abilities, and for your investment in the leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. First off, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story within the Future Farmers of America organization. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to our experiences and learn the true value and impact the FFA organization leaves on students, advisors, alumni, and donors across the nation. Growing up for myself, life was never constant, except for constant moving, constant fighting, constant bullying, and constant hardship. By the time I had entered the 8th grade, I had already moved to 6 different schools in 3 different cities, all with the same problem of being the new kid who fit in at the last school, but not at the new one. These hardships followed me all the way until the world stopped, quarantine. I was stuck, lost to myself, with no communication to the outside world. However, after quarantine, I was open to the new opportunity of a fresh new start with a simple piece of paper, the freshman year high school ballot. Normal science has never been an interest to me, and even though I love learning new things, I could never find a connection with it. But, however, I knew I wanted to try a new opportunity, this being agri-science. And from here on, my whole world flipped around. Walking into a high school of unfamiliar faces, it was in my first period class that I found something I was familiar with: agriculture. During my time at Houston Elementary School, they were very adamant with their high school FFA chapter and making an impact on the lives of third grade students. It was here that I had a day, an agriculture day, and I learned about what FFA meant. So, I was able to take this experience as a reference. As we continued through the year learning about the FFA organization, different opportunities arose, and I took every single one of them. Reciting the FFA Creed, opening and closing ceremonies competition, obtaining my Green Hand degree, participating in state conference, along with organizing farm tours and field trips to be able to share my story in hopes of inspiring others. Now, since I wasn't in 4-H as a kid or from a traditional family farm, making my mark in the livestock industry was a new challenge to overcome that I was ready to face. So, I raised a pig my freshman year as my first ever SAE project. And although I was able to gain an amazing experience, I also learned that pigs frustrate me so much. However, with the constant support from my advisors, new doors were able to open for me, continually pushing to strive as far as I could. I went on to becoming a state impromptu finalist, 2024 Stanislaus Tuolumne Section Vice President, State Conference Delegate, first place extemporaneous at the section level, Central Region Agriculture Education Proficiency Finalist, and even starting to raise beef cattle, something that little me would have never thought that I was ever going to do. These open doors have led me to finding my future in the agriculture industry. Once again, something that my past self would have never even believed I had gotten this far. I now know that I want to dedicate the next years of my life to becoming an agriculture educator. So many advisors within my chapter and my region have inspired me and taught me so many lessons that I want to teach younger generations. I plan on continuing my education here at Modesto Junior College and transfer to California State University, Fresno. Go Dogs. My involvement in FFA has led me to develop my personal growth and leadership skills, build connections and industry work experience, and overall create a sense of confidence within myself and pursue the industry. Thank you all for your unwavering support in listening to my story and your support in the agriculture education pathways and programs within our county. These contributions you have made create a difference in so many aspiring students' lives. There's a lot of students that never can imagine amounting to something as great that you can in the FFA, and within all these opportunities, I just want to thank you all. Thank you.
Tricia, I think you got much better options for LC next year. Just saying. That was impressive. Great speeches from our future leaders. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Brendan. Please give the students another round of applause. It's very, very well done. It is our pleasure to introduce this afternoon's featured panel. As a moderator, today we have Jake right here. Jake is the General Manager of Salida Hauling Association and Stanislaus Farm Bureau Board of Directors. Salida Hauling is an almond processing facility that processes nearly 20 million pounds of almonds annually. He is also a fourth-generation family farmer producing walnuts and almonds in the Wood Colony area here in Modesto. Jake serves on the California Farm Bureau Board of Directors and serves for 4 years as a board member of the Modesto Irrigation District as well. For our panelists, we have Brad Cohen. Brad is the General Manager of Turlock Irrigation District. He was appointed as a General Manager by the TID Board in 2024. As a General Manager, Cohen directs the day-to-day operations of TID's extensive irrigation, water storage, and delivery systems, as well as the generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity within 662 square mile service area in the Central Valley. Cohen has over 20 years of experience in the engineering field. And in his role as General Manager, Cohen serves on the Board of Governors of California Municipalities Utilities Association. He is a graduate of the California Ag Leadership Program and a licensed professional engineer and land surveyor in the state of California. Born and raised in the area, Cohen appreciates the opportunity to give back to his community and is active on multiple local committees and boards.
And we also have Eric Thornburg, Water Resources Manager. Wait, I skipped one. Jimmy Netness, sorry. I'm talking about General Manager, Modesto Irrigation District. He brought his cheering section over here. Modesto Irrigation District Board of Directors appointed Jimmy Netness as General Manager in May of 2023. Jimmy manages the district's day-to-day operations and leads more than 400 employees. He previously served for 1 year as MID's Assistant General Manager of Finance, where he managed the finance team and oversaw the activities and operations of MID's customer service, energy services, safety, and general services departments. Jimmy joined MID in 2001 as a programmer in the Information Technology Department. He was promoted to Budget and Rates Administrator in the Finance Division in 2006, advanced to serve as Risk and Pricing Administrator, and was later promoted to Assistant General Manager of Finance in March of 2022. Jimmy received a bachelor's degree in Computer Information Systems and a master's in Business Administration with a concentration in Finance from California State University, Stanislaus. We also have Eric Thornburg, Water Resources Manager, District Engineer for Oakdale Irrigation District. Cheering section, go on. Mr. Thornburg holds a Bachelor of Science degree with a major in Civil Engineering from UC Davis and is a licensed professional civil engineer in the state of California. He has now been with the Oakdale Irrigation District for over 17 years, where his current position is the Water Resources Manager and District Engineer. Mr. Thornburg is actively involved on OID's behalf in both the Eastern San Joaquin and Modesto groundwater subbasins, and currently serves as the chair of the Stanislaus and Tuolumne Rivers Groundwater Basin Association Groundwater Sustainability Agency. You guys like long titles. So please help me in welcoming Jake to lead this conversation.
Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to be here at this luncheon, and I can remember being one of the FFA members in the back, and now my son gets to be back there doing one of it, so boy, time flies. And so it just goes to show you how much support this community has. And I think it's wonderful today that we're talking about water, and here we are in Modesto with our famous arch that says water, wealth, contentment, health. And there was something about that arch, though, that I always heard, and it's what I believe. It's not listing 4 things, it's listing 3. It's water, wealth, contentment, health, because that's one thing that this community's always been blessed by, is having plentiful water, and it reflects in the fact that Stanislaus County is the 8th largest agricultural county in California, but coincidentally also the 8th largest agricultural county in the country, because those same 8 are the top 8 for the United States. Oh, there we go, back again. So before we get started, I just real briefly want to go through, we'll start with Jimmy and go through, we have obviously phenomenal bios for all these gentlemen up here who are very accomplished, but maybe give a little bit of background also on your irrigation districts and between MID, TID, and OID, and let us know a little bit about the irrigation districts and what you guys do.
Thank you, Jay. Yes, Jimmy Netness, General Manager of MID. A little bit about MID. We were formed in 1887, and I think my partner here to the left will tell us that they were the first and we were the second. They did beat us by a few minutes, but we're the second established irrigation district in California, serving over 2,300 accounts and 66,000 irrigated acres. We also obviously provide power. These lights are on. Thank you, MID, here in Modesto, and we have a peak power of just over 760 megawatts that we achieved a couple of years ago. In addition to that irrigated water and electricity, we also provide drinking water to the city of Modesto. About half of it's supplied through our regional water treatment plant that we started in the early 90s, just to the east of us. Especially excited to be here because of all the young faces in the room, the future leaders, the future of our community is in the room, so I'm excited to share all that we have and learn a little bit more from my panelists as well.
Good afternoon, Brad Cohen. I'm the General Manager for Turlock Irrigation District. And Jimmy already took my thunder in that we're the first irrigation district in California. We're very proud of that. A lot of history. 1886, we were formed, and again, water-centric. We pull water off the Tuolumne River. We co-own and operate on Pedro Reservoir, 2 million acre-feet reservoir. Again, serves our customers, irrigating about 150,000 acres, and really supporting our farmers that are growing the food for the world. Maybe a little bit about, since this is a groundwater focus, you know, on the way home last night, I was thinking about this conference a little bit and thought the groundwater basin is just, it's an unsung hero, is the thoughts that were in my mind. You know, when you drive over the dams that hold our surface water back, it's very common. You can see it's 2 million acre feet. It's very visible. They have fancy names to them. And we drive over the groundwater basin every day. It's considerably larger, and it just hit me that it's something that it is a key ingredient in us being able to provide the reliable water that we have for so many years. And that's why this is such an exciting topic, and I'm so glad that I'm part of TID at a point in time where we are developing plans and moving forward on creating sustainability so we can provide that same level of reliability in the future to come. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Eric Thornburn of Aware Irrigation District. I think that I heard the program actually listed me as the general manager. I didn't get promotion overnight, but I appreciate the credit. So Aware Irrigation District formed in 1909. We've got a very strong, reliable water supply, surface water supply. In the 50s, we actually built the Trident project, and so that was where a lot of our surface water supply and storage came from. Prior to that, in 1926, we finished Old Maloney's, constructing Old Maloney's. But you may remember that in the 60s, you may recall, in the 60s, New Maloney's was built. So Old Maloney's is underwater. When New Maloney's was constructed, it impacted our ability to operate upstream and downstream of that reservoir and exercise our surface water rights. So we are a little unique in that on the Stanislaus River, we share a water right 50-50 with SSJID. And we are allocated for 600,000 acre feet each year that flows into New Maloney's, and split that 300 and 300 with SSJID. So also in that, it's important to recognize that we don't have storage rights in New Maloney's. So whatever we don't use, we lose. And so we are in the business of selling water that is surplus to our needs in the district. We've been fortunate in generating funds and reinvesting that into our system. And by doing that, becoming more efficient and generating surplus water, selling that, and just kind of cyclically doing that. And that's allowed us to be able to provide out-of-district water locally first and keep our water rates low. So as far as the SIGMA aspect, that's been a really good thing for this area.
Thank you, gentlemen. And of course, you mentioned SIGMA there. And 2014, the state of California passed the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, sets up a whole bunch of rules and deadlines that we have to meet. We had to form groundwater sustainability agencies, which these communities did. And then just recently, we had the groundwater sustainability plans that have been approved. And so now there's actually work to be done. And Eric, I'd love to start with you. What are some of those projects that have been approved through those groundwater sustainability plans? And what are some of the costs associated with some of those projects?
Yeah, so the Modesto Basin, actually OID is part of two different basins. The eastern San Joaquin is north of the Stanislaus River. It's about 3 times the size of the Modesto Basin. We're one of 16 GSAs there, but I'm going to focus primarily on the Modesto sub-basin. We are one of 7 member agencies of the STR, GBA, GSA. So the Stanislaus and Tuolumne Rivers Groundwater Basin Association, Groundwater Sustainability Agency. That basin extends from the Stanislaus River down to the Tuolumne River, and from the north of Stanislaus down to Tuolumne River on the south, to the west, the San Joaquin River, and on the east, essentially the Tuolumne County line. There's one primary GSA, Groundwater Sustainability Agency. That is the STRGA GSA. The 7 member agencies are 2 districts, so MID and OID, and then the county, and then 4 cities. So you've got Waterford, Modesto, Riverbend, and Oak Haven. I would say the primary issue we have in this basin, and we are in overdraft, the most significant issue we have currently are water levels dropping in the east side of the basin. That area being outside of MID's boundaries and outside of OAD's boundaries. That's due to agricultural development. On the east, that is primarily and solely pretty much relying on groundwater. So as far as projects go, our goal to arrest those groundwater level declines is to provide surface water there first. We're fortunate that we have that available to us, and they can take surface water in lieu of pumped groundwater. So one project we have is the 10-year out-of-district water seal program. That's that we have the ability to extend that into a 20-year program. We're in year 3 of that program. Landowners have signed up, and we have about 7,000 acres this year that we're going to be irrigating with surface water. Under those contracts, they're required to purchase 1.5 acre-feet per acre, and obviously motivated to use that water. They pay for that water, and they don't get refunded if they don't use it. So about 10,500 acre-feet of water we expect will be delivered this year. That's across both basins, to the north and south. But approximately 60% of that will be delivered to non-district east lands in our basin. So they're paying $200 an acre foot for that water, and they have a really good supply. We believe we're going to be able to provide that water 7 out of 10 years. So far, each of the last 3 years, we've been able to provide them water. They paid for the infrastructure, so they paid for turnouts on our canals and the infrastructure to get into their pump stations. So that's the first project. The second project is we actually were successful in getting a grant from the state. We got $14.4 million to expand our Paul cell lateral. That lateral is 10 miles long. That $14.4 million is going to allow us to expand the first half of that, so 5 miles of the total 10 miles of canal. We believe that canal runs primarily to or through agricultural lands, and the last 3 or 4 miles goes to a small island, so all totally surrounded by non-district east lands that are primarily on groundwater. So $14.4 million going towards that. We finished 2 tunnels on that lateral last year during the winter, because we can only do work on that lateral when the water's out of the system. So those 4 months. And so that was about $4 million. We expect to do about $10 million, and the rest of that 5 mile plus expansion this winter.
I'll move over to Jimmy real quick while we stay in the same groundwater basin. Turlock's the only one that's in a different groundwater sub-basin. Eric, I appreciate you telling us those projects and the costs, but of course then it comes who pays for those projects. And so, Jimmy, how is the groundwater sub-basin, how is the STRGBA going to be funding those projects? And of course, there's been a lot of conversation when it comes to groundwater. We have those areas called the white areas that are outside of irrigation districts. And a lot of people say, well, that's why we have more challenging issues with groundwater, because there isn't surface water from the irrigation districts, as Eric pointed out, for those areas. Some people say some of that burden should be by the white areas. Some people say it should be district-wide. We have these projects. There's going to be a cost to them. How we pay for those projects and who should be paying for those projects?
Sure, I'll take the easy question. Well, Eric touched on a lot of those projects. I want to speak to one primarily that MID's focused on, which is our long-term groundwater replenishment program. We're really proud of that program over the years. We had one-off years where there was, in really wet years, we were able to deliver water to those non-district customers to help replenish the aquifer, essentially through 2 venues. One was in lieu of, so we provided water to these folks who are primarily depending upon groundwater, such that they could use our surface water in lieu of pumping. The other aspect is direct recharge, where we provide the water, spread it over an area for directly recharging the aquifer, letting it percolate down. In terms of the costs, that cost is borne by the folks who participate in it. So we have applicants to the program. It's a 20-year program, and there's a $1,000 application fee, and then $200 per acre foot for any water delivered. And on the direct recharge, it's set at $125. So the focus there again is to provide sustainability. Speaking of Sigma, sustainability for the groundwater, but not at the expense of our existing customers, both from a cost basis and water. Our first primary purpose is to make sure that our irrigators, our agriculture customers have all the water they need, as well as the city of Modesto, our partner for the water treatment plant. And then the next step is in those really wet years, what can we make available? So those costs are borne by those who participate in the program, again, to the benefit of the district, to the benefit of the aquifer. I have heard concerns from our growers, specifically to what you mentioned, Jake. They don't want to pay for the costs associated with folks who are primarily depending upon pumping. So equity is an issue, and we're certainly keen of it. I will say these discussions are happening right now at Sturba. By the way, for all the young people in here, I know you learn a lot in the classroom, you learn a lot at FFA. The Sturba meetings are open to the public. They happen on the second Wednesday of every month. You can go to those meetings, you can listen to the meetings online. Those are open to the public, so those discussions are happening there. Any decision that gets made there gets back to our board and ultimately at another public forum before our board where it will be decided. But there's certainly concerns. We have to balance sustainability with equity across all of our customers, and so those discussions are happening and moving forward. I like to say at MID, we were doing Sigma before Sigma. In the early 90s, the leaders at our board recognized that sustainability was something that we should focus on, and they formed a water treatment plan. And so while Turlock beat us by a few minutes being the first irrigation district, we set up that water treatment plan off of the Tuolumne 3 decades ago. And the city of Modesto has been benefiting from it from water levels. We've seen water levels recover significantly in Modesto, not just the water levels themselves, but water quality. So we're really proud of that. That plant went in 1995, and then we further expanded it up to 60 million gallons a day. So really proud of those efforts and looking for the next set of projects.
Sure, and Brad will jump across the Tuolumne River, being a different sub-basin over there, and of course on the other side we've got the East Turlock and the West Turlock sub-basins. You guys are West Turlock, right? So what sort of projects are we looking at in your groundwater sustainability plan on the other side of the river?
Sounds good. As Mr. Wenger said, we are the Turlock sub-basin. We are bound on the north by the Tuolumne River, south by the Merced River, west by the San Joaquin, and then up into the hills on the east side of the Turlock sub-basin. There are 2 GSAs, so we're a little different than these 2 gentlemen beside me, as we have 2 separate groundwater sustainability agencies. The West Turlock sub-basin, which is basically the TID irrigation boundary, and the East Turlock GSA, which is obviously to the east of Turlock. So projects, we touched on in-lieu recharge and direct recharge, so we have a smattering of projects in each of those. I'll highlight a couple of them. First of which is our 3rd regulating reservoir that we will be installing on lateral 5.5. These are multi-benefited projects. They check a lot of boxes. They save water, they improve water quality, but one of the big benefits is they deliver surface water more efficiently, so we can reduce district pumping. And so that fits squarely in the in-lieu recharge section of project moving forward. We also have automation of our main canal drop structures below Turlock Lake. This is the wide section of canal, 120 feet wide. It's where one of the arteries of our canal system. And again, that automation is saving water, pushing water upstream into Turlock Lake and ultimately into Don Pedro, making more water available in more years. Again, pumping less because we have a more sustainable water supply in Don Pedro. And then, just as Jimmy and Eric stated, we also provide out-of-district replenishment water to the east side and have for decades. And really looking forward to moving forward on a project that is in the design phase currently, which is kind of doubling down on that out-of-district replenishment water for those areas that don't have access to surface water. And that is shaping up as a large regional pipeline off of our main canal that can serve thousands of acres directly over an area of the East Turlock subbasin that needs it the most. And so again, our shared objective with the 2 GSAs is when we have the water, get more of it in the ground more effectively and more often. On the direct recharge front, we have a couple of interesting pilot projects that I'm really looking forward to seeing the results on. One of them is, we call it the subsurface, kind of a reverse tile drain system, where we're going to be installing a network of perforated pipes on a private property under the crop. So between crops, we're going to install this on one of our farmers' fields, and again, the idea is getting water in when we have it and measuring how much we can get in the ground. And again, not being able to, not impacting the crop above. Similarly, we have 250 miles of canal, which is 500 miles of canal bank. And so we're taking a section of canal bank, putting a large perforated pipe in the canal bank. Again, same objective. When we have the water, get it into that pipe, get it into the ground, and measure how effective it is, because these solutions could be the solutions of the future. Again, Jimmy did mention that they were a little bit ahead of us on providing wholesale water for domestic purposes. The SRWA project, it's not a proposed project, but it is in the second year of operation, providing wholesale water to the cities of Turlock and Ceres, and already seeing wells recover in the area, because again, that's this large-scale in-lieu recharge of being able to provide surface water and to replace the groundwater pumping that was done by both those cities. So those are some of the projects. It's exciting to see some of these start moving forward.
And we're getting
close to time, so I got a couple.
Oh, this keeps. There we go. I got a couple questions. We'll get a couple
answers. Maybe I'll borrow that one.
All right, we'll pass this one around. We'll get a couple of short answers and a couple of quick questions. We can cover a couple more things. Eric, obviously OID a little different than the other two, receiving allotment for water from the federal government. What sort of relationship does that provide as far as maybe getting some federal funding for some of these projects, or state funding for some of these to try and get some of these done, or is it really something that's going to be borne by the users?
Yeah, it doesn't help. To be a short answer, it doesn't help. They have no motivation to allow us to use the water that we're otherwise not using in district. So, so it actually is kind of a roadblock a lot of the time. But we did get this grant funding for the wholesale improvement project. We did get some grant funding to do some monitoring well installation to improve our monitoring well network across the basin. So to the tune of a couple $100,000. And we initially got funded for our initial GSP that was done in 2022. Unfortunately, that was deemed incomplete by the state, or DWR rather, and so we had to redo that plan to their satisfaction within 180 days, and that was on our dime. And above and beyond that, the next update to that plan, we have to update it every 5 years. So we've got another plan that's due in 2027, and every year we're doing an annual report to report back to the state progress on that GSP and working towards sustainability. So all those costs are borne equally shared amongst those 7 agencies in the STRGBA. That's to the tune of about $800,000 a year. And so yeah, we haven't had a whole lot of funding for that and future projects, and I don't really see a whole lot coming down the line right now, but we're hopeful.
And one last thing that's been an issue in this area for a long time has been getting FERC relicensing on Don Pedro. I was on the MID board from 2013 to 2017, and I think that license ran out in 2011. So it's been something that's been talked about for a long, long time. How does Sigma intertwine with a little bit of that FERC relicensing process? And where are we in that process there, Brad?
Great question. It's been 2016, so we're almost 20 years in pursuing a license for Don Pedro. Voluntary agreement, I'm sure most of you have heard that term. That is that districts, TID and MID, our plan to move forward science-based flow and non-flow measures to one, continue providing water reliability, protect our water reliability, but also develop a healthy river system. And that is now called the Healthy Rivers and Landscapes, and I've been told not to use the acronym HURL, but that is now the new term, Healthy Rivers and Landscapes. We are at the finish line with our voluntary agreement. And it is district priority number one to get this across the finish line and develop that, and that gets developed into a 401 certification, which gets into our relicense. And we have favorable conditions currently, and we're trying to take advantage of every opportunity quickly to get Don Pedro relicensed, because it is the lifeblood of this community, and having certainty that we have a license for the next 40 years is number one priority of the district.
Yeah, just to add to that, here we are talking about sustainability and groundwater, and I know many of you are in ag, but for those of you who are not, the reason, and this goes back to what Jake said earlier, when you talk about our community, the reason why it's sustainable is because of that surface water and what we've been blessed with. And so, on the one hand, we're trying to make sure that we're sustainable. On the other hand, we're fighting these forces. We're trying to take away that surface water. And you know what happens when the surface water's not there? The other aquifers underground. And so, it's part and parcel of sustainability. And yeah, we've been on this journey for some time. But Jake, we're getting closer. So it didn't happen under your time, but we're hoping that we can, everything kind of converges, and there's a lot of momentum right now, and hope that we can make this happen and secure that water so that we can continue on the path of sustainability.
Well, I'd like to think this is a perfect place to end, Jimmy. Well said. I'd like to thank all of our panelists here today for their time. And bottom line is talking to Dave Wheeler as we walked in today, and he said, the strength of this community has always been the water. And when you look at the fact that land values are higher, when you look at the fact that we have water when so many other areas don't, that is the most important thing that continues to build up Stanislaus County agriculture. And so thank you, Modesto Chamber of Commerce, and all of you for attending today. If you always want more information on following along with the groundwater for the Modesto Turlock Group in that sub-basin, strgba.org, strgba. If you want information on either the east or west Turlock sub-basins, you can go to turlockgroundwater.org and find out more information there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay, Brad, Jimmy, and Eric. We truly appreciate your time and insight today. Finally, I would like to recognize the members of the Modesto Chamber of Commerce Agricultural Committee. They're listed on the back of your program. Also, please mark your calendars for September, as we'll be having our harvest launch right here in this venue. Thank you very much, Trish. Okay, I was doing pretty good, guys. I was feeling great. So we're not gonna start again. In appreciation of our panel today, we will be making a donation in your name to the FFA Foundation and on behalf of the Stanislaus County Farm Bureau.
And we're going to take a moment and go on to door prizes, which have been provided by the various FFA chapters we have. When you arrived today, each of you were asked to drop a business card in a bowl for your chance to win one of the great door prizes donated by the Modesto City Schools chapters. If your business card is drawn, please stand and our students will deliver your prize to you. They have a mic over there. So let me know when you're going to call a name.
Nick Antrim, TSM Insurance Services. We can clap. Heidi Bowers, Bank of America. Lindsay Wasbach, I hope I said that correctly. Kathy Top, Bank of America. Dave Wheeler, Melvin T. Wheeler, sorry. Please raise your hand if I called your name. Thank you. Kelly Biggest Stockton. Kelly Griffin. Test. Okay. Julia Perez. Mary Underhill Sylvester. Modesto City Schools. Sit here. You gotta be here to win. Okay.
He's here.
He's here? Oh, there it is. Silva. Three more. Lynette Fletcher, Oak Valley Community Bank.
Next, students, we'll lower the sheet over there.
Christine Sweingart, Old Republic Title. I apologize if I butchered anybody's name. And the last one, Dave Wheeler, you got it? Oh, okay, we give it for somebody else then. Okay, MT Wheeler and Sons. Thank you, ex-students.
Again, we would like to express our appreciation to our local businesses for your support of today's Aware Luncheon, as well as show our appreciation to our event sponsors, table sponsors, and in-kind donors. Please watch for information and registration to open soon for the Modesto Chamber of Commerce inaugural summer learning session. We are leaning into water, wealth, contentment, health. I'll take under advisement what you shared today on that part. We are doing a June, July, August, and September combined Economic Development Government Relations Committee effort. Our first one will be water, and our first guest of that one will be the Vice Chair of the California State Water Resources Control Board, Doreen Diama. More to come on that as we work. That'll be launched around the 1st of May, so watch for information to come on the series. And a special thank you to my partner up here, Edgar Perez.
Thank you. All right, let's give this another try. So finally, I would like to recognize the dedicated members of the Modesto Chamber of Commerce Agriculture Committee. They are listed in the back of your program. Please mark your calendars for September for this year's Harvest Luncheon. Thank you very much, Trish, the Chamber staff, the Aware Committee for their excellent work on planning and coordinating this event. To Modesto City Schools for the PowerPoint presentation, and to Modesto Junior College for the tables, signs, and placements. Please notice the beautiful centerpieces on your table. They can be yours today for a $20 donation on your way out. Thank you again to our generous sponsors, to Jake, our Water District panelists, our venue host, Modesto Junior College Ag Department, and to each of you for attending today. Thank you, drive safe.